and I'll try to mix some, anything to get me going. And pretty soon that canvas is full of a bunch of things, and then you can take away things or add things, and then pretty soon you have a painting. So
yeah, I got you. And you end up creating your own. You have your own record label, right? The Neo Pacific, I believe it's called. Yeah.
yeah, I did that with my ex-wife a couple of years ago, 20 years ago maybe. Yeah.
And how do you end up? It did work out okay? The record label.
It's been incredible. I mean, because there was a lot of music I wanted to do that on the major label I wasn't able to do because they only wanted one record per year. But I had a lot of other things to say about other music, and we had some genres we wanted to explore, so we did that also. And we did some Native American music, and we did some global kind of music, which I hadn't really done too much of on my other records. More rhythmic stuff, more percussion, more sort of vocal chanting stuff, which is fun to experiment with on a keyboard because you can do anything you want. Singer doesn't have to be there, so that's nice. But yeah, that has been very successful. Another fortunate thing, but it comes down to the music. You can market something as hard as you want, and if it doesn't go all the way through to people's hearts or ears or something that they resonate with, it's not gonna go. So luckily we keep doing that kind of thing.
Do you think that looking back in your career, your life, that you didn't have a choice by that? I mean, you didn't pick music. Music selected you.
I do feel like that, exactly. I talk to people like this about that all the time. I think, because I'll meet people and they do what they do, and it's like, oh, what do you do? And it's like, and then when I say, oh, I'm a composer, I can't ever remember not wanting to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I did want to be a rock star for a while, for sure. But I always wanted to create music, whether it was rock or new age or film soundtracks, whatever it is. I feel like, yes, chosen is a good word, but it's also a gift. I have a gift that takes a lot of nurturing.
Yeah.
Once you come up with a melody, that's great. That's the gift, right? But then you have to make that into something. You have to make that into a whole piece. And that's where the craft comes in.
Yeah, put it right. You can have like a farm where the only thing you do is the output is wheat, but it doesn't become bread. Bread is kind of taking the wheat and do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm a wheat farmer. Yes.
Right. But then from there you need to. Yeah. So many people, man, are unhappy with their life, or they're working in jobs that they don't like, or whatever. Right? Yes. You and I are very fortunate. The connection with music for me, I have a well-paying job. I can play. I overly educated. I study a lot, and music can give you so satisfaction. So very. If I die tonight, I hope not. But I'm very happy person. Music has given me a lot of satisfaction.
So. Yeah, I can't imagine it. I just can't. It's an extension of me, and whatever makes me a unique human. I just can't imagine not having it.
No, and not only the 2260 release, but I think two of those, like a third, have reached the top 10 in the Billboard for New Age chart.
I actually think 20 have.
1/3, man. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, and I'm just amazed by the whole thing. I mean, it's a long way. You sit there in the morning or the afternoon or the evening and you make your piece, which is your motivation. You don't think about, oh, this is going to be on a chart or this is going to get a Grammy nomination. You just don't think about that. You just want to make the best music you can. And when things like that happen, it's like, wow, I guess I'm doing the right. I guess I chose the right path.
Absolutely,
You know,
man. I will bring
something
your
like that.
attention to a couple of tracks that I listened to your stuff a couple of nights ago and yesterday as well. A couple of tracks here random from Spotify, and if you can remember, that's fine. If not, remember the track "Call of the Sea" from the album called "Celtic Chill Out."
Yeah. Did you say Call of the Sea?
Yeah, "Call of the Sea." Yeah, I think it's called. That's a beautiful piece.
Yes. You know, that has, I think that has the most hits on Spotify's any
That's
of my
right.
music. and I'm amazed by that, because that's truly a song that was like a painting, because you had a rhythm, and then, but this is a commission album and they wanted a Celtic, Celtic chill out. At first I had to figure out what that was, what that
Right.
meant.
Right.
And then I just did my own thing after I sort of found a way through it. But that song, it has electronics in it, and it has sort of a melody, and then it has a drum loop in it. And I don't know why it's resonated with people like it has. I can't, if I knew that, I would just make more music like that.
Yeah.
But I can't explain it. But it was really like like a painting, really like a painting.
You took that as a regular track, like track, and then on the other end, from consumer point of view, 1 million or 2 million people, too many hits you have heard. People say, "Man, this is different." For you it was
I
one of
know.
100, but for me it was, man, this is
Yeah,
great.
but you think of 2 million people listening to your song, it's just overwhelming.
Absolutely.
It's like it just makes you want to. You talk about where motivation comes from. That's part of it. It's like, oh, people like what I do, I might as well keep doing it.
Yeah, and getting paid for it.
Yeah, well, if you can, yeah.
If you are getting a $200 paycheck from Spotify every 3 months or whatever.
It's a little bit here, a little bit there. It all goes into the pot. It's fine.
Yeah. Another track that I really like was the Secret Wedding from Braveheart. That's another beautiful piece. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't usually do covers,
Yeah.
but I know that I talked to the guys we were making the record with, and they liked that song. I'm sure there was a reason, but that's a beautiful song anyway, the way James Horner did it. I had to figure out how to bring something else to it. You can't just do what he already did. So I changed some things and arranged some things the parts that I really liked, I changed them around a little bit. And that was fun. It was fun. I don't do that very often, but because arranging is way different than composing. Although composing, you start with you're composing the song and then you have to arrange it. So you're kind of like both people. But in that case, I didn't have to write the melody. It was already there. So I just had to arrange it, which was satisfying on its own.
I got you. Let's talk about your latest album that came out June 10th. It's the music inspired by Middle Earth Volume 2. Feel free to elaborate, if you don't mind, from your own words about why that album, why Volume 2. And I know you're a fan of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, that kind of stuff.
That's where it starts. I'm a fan of those books. And when I read them when I was a kid, 18-year-old kid-ish, maybe 17, I just got into them all the way. It was a world that I just loved to be in. I used to take the books to work with me and read them on the breaks and the lunch breaks and when I was in the middle of them the first time. Sorry, there's a trash truck out here.
Okay.
But they were so. I just loved the world that they produced. Tolkien wrote, and the way he described things and all that, it just speaks to me musically. I hear music when I'm reading. So I did an album 20 years ago, the first music inspired by Middle Earth, and people liked it. And then I thought, okay, well, it's been 20 years. I think I'm a better composer. I have better sounds. I have other parts of the story that he wrote that I would like to illustrate. So that's how that came about. This seemed like a good time to do it.
Yeah.
It was somebody on Spotify has put the songs in chronological order according to the story. They made a playlist of both recordings.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, who takes the time to do that? But somebody did. It was very cool, and I listened to it. It was like, oh yeah, I did some good stuff back then, but I feel like the stuff I did this time is better and richer in a way. So I don't know. I could probably do up to volume 10 someday.
Really? You have that much material to?
I think it's inspirational enough to me that I could do that. Yeah, maybe volume 5. I don't know about 10.
But still, you know,
it's a big job to make an hour's worth of music that is sort of cohesive and tells its own story. Because I've gotten feedback from people who don't even know the story. They know nothing about it, and they enjoyed the music. So
yeah, that's
effort.
At least for me, can be the same. Let me give an example. So I own, I don't know, like 300 or 400, soundtrack, right? And
wow,
or more. I own a lot of the Italian stuff, all the John Williams one, and John Carpenter, or Scary Movie, horror movie. I have a wide. And
how about Ennio Morricone?
Of course, yeah. Unfortunately, he passed away recently. Yeah, I own. Looking to my lab, I have a bunch of vinyl like that to listen to and getting disorganized. And half of those, or 70% of those, I have never seen the movie. So what I'm saying is, you are kind of two independent things. You can see a movie and say, man, the music is very good, because I like the story, it was scary, I like the director, and I will go and buy the CD or the vinyl, because I buy a lot of stuff. And at the same time, I look at the other way around. Movies that I have never seen, I discover the soundtrack in the category, horror or
right,
experimental, whatever. And I put the stuff, never seen the film, and I really like the music. Are kind of independent things, I suppose, right? So you can like the music without seeing the film, and then once you see the film, you can go ahead and buy the vinyl. Sometimes 20% of the music is used in a film, right? So, maybe use 10 seconds of a track or right? So,
yeah, and I think people like soundtracks because they remind them of a movie. Then there's people like you who just have the soundtrack. I mean, I would buy a James Horner or John Williams soundtrack even, and that was always a great experience anyway. So I'm not surprised that this person or these couple people enjoyed the record for what it is.
That's
so
right.
Another thing I'm excited about is that I haven't had a vinyl since 1992, and I'm making vinyl for this record. It's in production right now, and it had to be a double album, which was more expensive. But I think that people who like vinyl, people who like Lord of the Rings, and people like me, there'll be enough people that will enjoy this. And that's what made me decide to do it, because it was a big deal to make vinyl now.
Well, with the supply chain issue, and then number two, people, like you mentioned before, they are not buying as many CDs, as many vinyl. Many record store have, gone away.
Disappeared.
Difficult. Yes. You can, I don't know if on eBay, you can always find stuff. Amazon, you can always find stuff, but it's limited, right? So you need to gamble and say, man, how many how many violins do I think I will end up selling? Because I don't want to, end up with another 50 on my basement of my house, right? So you say, well, yeah, I don't know, 200
Exactly.
to make a number, like
That's what
200.
I got.
How many will you be able to sell, right? So you need to money up front, do the production, they send you to 200 regular, and then what do I do with the stuff? I pay $2,000 now.
Right.
How I can recover my investment?
I wish it had been $2,000. But
Yeah.
it was I did 200 because I figured that was a good amount, because when I start playing again, I think people at shows it'll be a very nice souvenir.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
right. Yeah.
I think that's the only one I've done since 1992. So that's significant.
Yeah, the merchandising
That's 30
aspect
years.
of musician, it can be lucrative. You do a show,
Yeah.
perhaps you don't get paid that much money for the gig, but at the end, you can sell, I don't know, $2,000 worth of merchandise with it, CDs, a T-shirt, or taking a picture with the fan. And people like the stuff. Want to have every show that I go, hey, where is your merchandise? Can I buy? Can we take a picture together for the radio? You sign someone. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, for me,
Yes.
meeting someone that you enjoy, being at a concert with and having the stuff signed and a picture. I don't know. We live in that crazy world, with pictures and phones and social media.
And that's what I mentioned earlier. When we go out and play a concert, I meet people that have been fans for a long, long time, and then I meet people that have never heard of me. So it's kind of a great combination, because you're playing music that has been recorded, and that's just one place. But then when you play it for people in a live version, it gets another life.
Absolutely, right. Yeah.
It gets more personal to people and me, because you're sitting there with the people 10 feet away from you, playing this song that you played all by yourself in your studio, maybe, and it's more of a full communication, kind of a togetherness. We're exploring this music together. You as the listener, me as the performer. It goes beyond the recording. That's the part I like.
Do you get nervous playing live for an audience?
I do a little, because there's always electronics involved. If it was just a grand piano on stage and nothing else, no microphones or anything, it might be easier, although I'd be terrified about playing grand piano just by myself, all alone. But sometimes you do a sound check and then you come back and something's not working. And that's the nervous part. And that actually, I saw that happen recently. An artist that I really enjoy, Arnold's, he's from Iceland, and he was starting his very first song. And something was wrong with one of the synthesizer plugs or something, and it wasn't working. And he had to just stop. And, that's terrifying. He wasn't terrified. I mean, it's just the way it goes. But then they fixed it, and it was like they just started over. And I did this one time where I was playing flute on a song. And at the time, this was years ago, and I had a sequencer that played some of the other music, and it had a wheel on it, and you use the wheel for tempo. And I set the flute down, and I was doing something else, and then the flute fell on the tempo, and the wheel turned, and all of a sudden the tempo was twice as fast as what we were supposed to play. So I just stopped it, and we just started it again. And people are very forgiving about stuff like that. It's like electronics stuff. Some people can't turn their TV on 2 days in a row now. So it's the nervousness comes from just wanting to do the best performance for people who have paid money.
Absolutely.
So, I used to, our keyboard player and a percussionist of mine used to, before we played, we had a shot of rum. I don't do that anymore, but that helped.
Twist the nerve.
Yeah. So that took the edge off, but I don't do that anymore. I don't need to do it. It was fun.
Whatever works, man. What
Puts you in the mood.
You know. I'm a coffee and water type of guy. So.
Yeah. Now me too. Orange juice.
Orange juice, you do. So, what do you think it does it take to survive in the music business? Because it's very difficult. Like you mentioned the USC, where the kids go to study, film production.
Mm-hmm.
How many musicians? 90% of them don't make it, or the Berklee School of Music here in Boston, which is very well known. I mean, it's a cutthroat business. Very few people will make it. So what do you think it takes to survive in that kind of crazy business?
First of all, you have to believe in yourself so hard. You have to just know you can do it before you even do it, I think. And then that doesn't even count the craft part of finding a way to make music that maybe nobody's ever heard before. In a way, even if you're a pianist, it's all different because there's a lot of solo piano music out there. I don't know how people even go through it, but I think you just have to believe in yourself, and you have to be super passionate about you have to almost believe there's nothing else you can do. Like that, nothing else will satisfy you as a human on this planet. You have to do it. You don't have a choice. Not that you were chosen, but you're choosing it for yourself. And like all the musicians that I grew up with and was in bands with, I mean, all my friends, none of them play music for a living. So that says something to me. But it's just, you have to be overwhelmed, and then you have to come up with music that's good. But usually if you're passionate, you'll figure that out because you'll go to school or you learn from records. You'll end up making good music if you're passionate enough, I think. I think a lot of people give up and maybe that's good because they wouldn't have been happy. I think in film music, it's very hard because you have so many people that want to do the same thing. You also have to be a marketing force. You have to market yourself or sell yourself or do work for free or whatever. And I don't like that part. But it happens. It happens on all kinds of creative businesses. I think if you're a director, you want to be a director, no film company is going to give you $100,000 to make a movie or $1 million, whatever it would be, until they've seen something. So you got to go out, make your movie for your money, or find a friend that has a bunch of money or whatever. You use your savings account and make what you believe in so hard. And then I think that's similar to the music business because it's changed a lot. I wouldn't want to be starting out right now. I'm happy I'm not starting because with the way music sales is and stuff, it'd be very hard, to make a living. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
The top
so,
10,
right,
top
like
10%.
40 years ago, right? You will create like a vinyl, and then you get paid $1 for each sale or a CD, whatever that is, and then you wouldn't have to tour that much. Now, musicians make money when they play live, and Spotify, in my example, will give you $200 on, Bandcamp. They take 10%, so it's a little bit of money, not much. So you make money when you play live. So you're forced to go on the road and then do whatever for each the big names or 100, and but fewer and fewer people are buying vinyl and buying CD. The digital format, is still there. So what? Yeah. So
It's funny at shows sometimes. I'll have a bunch of CDs out on the table. Excuse me, who's ever selling them, and I see people pick the CD up and they look at their husband or wife. They're like, "Do we have a CD player anymore?" You know, like they're not sure if it's in their car or if they even have one at home. I mean, if they have a DVD player, they can play a CD, of course, but a lot of people aren't even aware of that. So they may not want to buy a CD. So I always give them a download with a CD, you know, something like that. So
you can listen
people
to
like
the
to
car.
look, people like to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of cars don't have CD players anymore. Most don't even have them. So it's a strange, you have to be able to roll with the punches, as they say. You know, it's like, okay, they don't have that, so now I sell USB sticks with 2 or 3 albums on them or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then so you have to adapt.
That's right.
I think that's another important thing for survival.
Adapt to survive, you know.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Adapt to survive. That's a good name for an album of yours. Write it down.
Yes. I'll remember that. I don't have to write it down.
Adaptosurvive.com. So the new album.
That's right. I'll say that's what Claudio told me.
Yeah. So can music change the world? I mean, we live in, I don't know, the situation in Ukraine, which is crazy.
Yeah. I think in the long run it can help change. You know, humans are humans, you know, and some are just evil, I think. And they're megalomaniacs, you know, that just want a bunch of power. I think over the years, I think a lot of, like, you think of music in the 60s and things like that, where there seemed to be more social commentary in music. I think that had an effect on people. I think that had an effect on a generation. And I think if more people just listened to music that was calming, or they could get outside themselves for a minute, I think that will change over time. So I think yes is the short answer.
We live in, you know, we live in a kind of crazy world where young kids, like my son, you know, they don't like to read that many books, but they're on the phone all day, and then the internet. People don't.
How old is your son?
18.
No,
of course I'm exaggerating a little bit. We put pressure on him to study, but you know how it is. People don't buy books anymore, or they don't go to the library. No. They're in social media all the time, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, which a bunch of very stupid stuff, you know, controlled by some people.
Yes.
You know, and they don't enjoy life, and they don't go out. They are connected all the time, and social pressure because the peer they are not right in the back, or a peer, you know, uploaded a picture, or whatever that is. You know, we live in kind of crazy time, and
yes.
So
I know. I worry about young people. You know, I think I feel embarrassed that the world isn't in a better place.
Yeah.
You know, after all what the good people have tried to do over years. So I don't know. It's kind of scary.
Man, I hope we don't blow up this planet. We don't. I don't know. We are that close, man. We live in crazy times. So maybe music is the answer, man.
I think a lot of people use music to escape.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's why people like my music.
You know, what we need to do is buy your music, send it to Putin to see if he will stop. You know.
Yeah. You gotta hold him down and make him listen to it.
Yeah, and then to see he change. We live in crazy town nowadays, man. And
well, especially you put that together with the pandemic. It's like, wow, what is going on?
You know, think about it. You know, people couldn't. I don't know. I'm exaggerating, but they didn't leave the house for 6 months at a time, where
Yes.
remember, you didn't go to the supermarket, you called the supermarket, you place an order online, and you or your wife, your kids will pick that up,
Hmm.
in a particular corner at 6:15 p.m. so nobody will be around,
Right.
and so we were stuck at home. So music was, for me, was beautiful because I was buying more music
Yeah,
that I was able
sure.
to listen to. So
Yeah, sure.
the stuff.
Yeah,
I have only two more questions. Looking back in your
sure.
music career, what moments are special to you? Any regrets or anything you would have done differently?
Boy, that's a long question. I did a tour in 1998, and we were playing with Michael Crawford, who was the singer from Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
And we got to open for his show with my new music, The Celtic Book of Days, on that tour. And I got to play at the Hollywood Bowl. And I think that was a highlight for me because I love the Hollywood Bowl. I've gone there since I was a kid. And to be on that stage was really powerful. I wouldn't say regret, but I would say the way things turned out, I wish I had started making my own music sooner. But you can't, how do you second guess that? You've got to go with what you're doing at the time. Like, I'm not sure I would have been in band so long, or I might have taken more classes about orchestration in college. So that maybe I would be able to do more films now or something. But I still feel very lucky. A lot of people who wanted to be in music aren't, and they couldn't do it. You just have to be obsessed, kind of. And I was.
What do you do for fun? No music related.
I mean, besides coming to Hawaii,
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Good for you.
I like to play baseball with a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
And then I'm always worried about falling down or getting hurt or something. But it's fun. I always thought that maybe I would be a baseball player when I was in high school.
Really? That would have been your plan B.
But then music took over.
Well,
yeah. But also, if I was a baseball player, my career would have been over a long time ago. So I'm happy I went with the music way.
Right. Good for you, man. Feel free to elaborate on your website where our listener can buy your music, and feel free to mention the site,
Yes, the best best place to go is davidarkenstone.com and David Arkenstone at Bandcamp, because then you can find CDs or digital downloads.
Yeah.
And other stuff. And the new record is there also, and on Amazon too. And people were buying it or pre-ordering it. I've never seen this happen before. Pre-ordering it before it was released, and it was up on the chart, and I was just amazed by that, because you couldn't even hear it. There was nowhere to hear it. Pre-order it wasn't connected to music, so I'm amazed by that. But I'm kind of everywhere, so it's easy to find. YouTube has lots of stuff, as you found out.
Yeah, and I will
Spotify.
Yeah, I will put, when I upload the link to the radio, I will put the name of the Bandcamp as well as your website, so people can go and buy your music. Hey, Dave, it was very nice talking to you, man. This more my they call it interview, but in reality for me are two people talking about life experience, talking about music, that and whatever, more than an interview. Because for me, it's I don't. You see, I don't. Everybody knows about that hit, that album, that many records, that many sales. Right. But for me, it's important to get to know the person behind the instrument, or the drummer, behind the drums, or the pianist. So I want to know the human being behind the instrument. So that's why my interviews are different.
I think your listeners appreciate too, because it's the same thing about playing live. When I go play a show, I meet people who have been 5-6 CDs in their hand for me to sign from years ago or whatever. Yeah. You're able to communicate with these people who have really been your fans, and now it's easier, with Facebook, and we have a special Facebook group called the Arken Fans Community, and I interact with them a lot more than I ever have with with fans. It's a great way to connect, and then they'll show up at the shows, and you get to know the people a little bit who have supported you for so many years. So I think your listeners appreciate your talking to musicians and finding out how that all happens.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
It was very nice talking to you. Have a great time there in Hawaii, man, and hopefully I will see you in California very soon, man.
Great. Thanks, Claudio.
Hey, no problem. Have a great afternoon there.